Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I'm the wife, comedian Blair Postman. Yay! I'm joined by my husband and sports stat expert, Gary Hames. Woohoo! Hey, baby.
Hi, honey.
Also on board is Hot Topics and social media maven, comedian, and pet nurse, Drew Harrison.
Hello.
Hey, Drew.
And rounding things out, sound engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
Good Lord.
It was fancy. To never miss our weekly episodes, extras, and more, subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher, or go to our website, myfantasywife.com, with links to everything. Find us on Facebook at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fan Wife, and Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, and now also on YouTube. Yes, YouTube.
No.
Yes, YouTube.
Really?
Yes, really, YouTube. Gary,
Yes?
tell us about this week's sponsor.
Sure, Blair. This week's sponsor is Sunday Night Comedy Open Mic at Brewer's Kettle. You already come for the fine beer, wine, and cigars. Now come to Brewer's Kettle for the laughs. Every Sunday evening at 6 p.m., hear the best area comics try out their best new jokes for free at our restored 50 service station, all the while enjoying beer, wine, back patio, and great outdoor games. And there's no need to stay in the audience because if trying stand-up comedy is on your bucket list, you can join in the fun. No need to sign up in advance. Find more information about Brewer's Kettle Open Mic at bkwilmington.com. That's bkwilmington.com.
You did that very nicely. Hey, everybody, let's give us a round of applause.
Yay.
Round of applause there, just because for doing it. New sponsor. New sponsor this week.
Ah.
How'd you like that one, Lewis?
Oh, it was very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Lewis is the host of that.
Oh, that's his deal?
Lewis is So guys, hey, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 76, and before we get things underway, just let everybody know today we're going to be joined at the end of the podcast by comedian and Eagles fan, as well as fun commentator for the NFL Network, Aaron Jackson. Let's
Very
give her a
nice.
round of
All right.
applause.
Can we... Okay, Aaron is a woman?
Yes, of course. Yes.
What,
That's
you heard
not of
NFL
course.
Network and you said,
What do you mean?
Why is it of course? Aaron can be a man's name.
Yeah, I went to school with an Aaron.
You did?
Was it spelled like that, though?
Aaron Copeland wrote some
Yeah.
very famous...
No, that's Aaron. Aaron.
Oh, what is this?
Aaron?
Aaron.
Well, I'm just listening to you. How am I supposed to know?
I don't know, because we've been together for 14 years.
So I know things that sound exactly like but are spelled differently?
No, they don't sound exactly right. Aaron is different than Aaron.
Wait, what?
All right. Anyway, yes, Aaron Jackson is joining us at the end of this episode, y'all.
Cool.
And then coming up the rest of the month or so, we've got on July 17th, comedian Rory Scovel. July 24th, comedian and husband and wife team Mary Mack and Tim Harmston. July 31st, Sumac Tolgagar, and comedian and our Evil Genius Olympics commentator, Nick Vatterott. It's going to be August 7th. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds good. Right, guys? How you doing over there, Drew?
I'm doing good.
All right. You had a big week.
I did.
All right,
I
Drew,
did.
guys, everybody, he was named Port City's Top Comic 2016. Let's give him a
Thank
little
you,
round
thank
of
you.
applause since our
Yeah.
last podcast.
Thank you, Gary,
leading
for
to, God
that late
knows
round.
what wonderful things it will lead to.
I hope so.
Yeah. How you doing over there, Mr. Bishop?
I'm doing pretty well. By the way, I did go to school with an Aaron. That
You
was a
did?
guy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never... Do you know any Aarons that are a guy?
I know one.
Well, I mean, Lewis does. Gary, I mean?
No.
Okay. Drew, do you know any Aarons who are a guy?
I do not.
Okay. Alrighty.
We do pick the most interesting subjects to talk about.
I know, it's pretty fascinating. Well, let's move on then, guys, to the fact check portion.
Do you know
our
a
show.
Phyllis that pronounces it Felice?
Wait, you know what? Why? It's like we had moved on. It was so clear. I mean,
Right.
I know we didn't have the music first moving on, but you like to go
We're
back
now
after
wasting more time on
Now,
songs.
yes, we're going to start the next part, guys. So this is the fact check. This is the part of the podcast where we like to go over some of the things we got wrong last week to make room for the things we're going to get wrong this week. And we did a whole lot of Game of Thrones last week, so not that many fact checks. since the whole thing was sort of one huge
Too much Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it was a huge Game of Thrones fact check almost the whole episode. But we talked about a few things up front, and one is we were talking about Pat Summitt, who had passed away, and everyone, of course, agreed that she was one of the winningest, most amazing college coaches
Can we all agree
time.
that this season was the best Game of Thrones season yet?
No, we're not talking about.
We're not talking about Game of
That's
Thrones.
so good.
Okay, but we're not talking. We've moved on. I'm actually a little like I'm. It's going to take me a while before I can talk about Game of Thrones again.
Right.
But Pat Summitt is, and just to fact check it, we were saying she was one of the winningest and etc. She's actually the winningest, if you will, coach in college Division I basketball history, and right now Coach K is number 2.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I hope he never breaks that record.
You're right. What are you going to do to make sure that Pat Summitt remains number 1 forever, Drew?
Well, I can't let my secrets out, but I have a few plans in motion.
Drew, a big Tennessee women's basketball fan.
Right. Yes. More of a huge hater of Duke and Coach K. Would you say that's accurate?
I would say yes, that is correct.
I thought so. And then also last week, Joe Perot said I sounded very quiet. So I just wanted to bring that up again.
Joe Perot is clinically insane.
And I didn't think that was possible. I was actually told by corporate trainers who were in this week in my day job that I have a remarkably authoritative voice and that it was ear-piercing. But they meant it in like a super positive way.
They didn't. They've never even heard you use it on me.
No, they thought it was right. Exactly. They didn't even know what they were dealing with. I was giving them like the level C. I didn't give them the level A. But they said that my voice was ear piercing and that they meant it in a super positive way, like they had stumbled upon.
That's what they say in corporate modes when they say something by accident. They're like, but I mean that in a positive way.
Right. But what we mean by that is,
Isn't there an X-Man who can project his or her voice in sound waves to like knock buildings down and things like that?
You would know that better.
Havoc, yes, that's it.
You would. Is that a superhero of some sort?
Blair Havoc Postman.
Well,
that would be a great nickname.
In many ways, Havoc is the perfect nickname for you.
That would be great. Okay, for a lot of ways, yes.
We'll get you a belt buckle.
Sorry, I was looking at the time because we do have we have a narrow window to get our wonderful guest in, and we have a lot of great things to talk about. So I think it's time we're going to move into hot topics, guys. You ready?
Sure.
All right. First, Wimbledon. Andy Murray and Serena Williams are our victors as of earlier today in Wimbledon. Drew, were you watching a lot of Wimbledon this last week?
I was.
You were? I mean, because you're a tennis fan.
No.
Well, didn't you used to play? Or Gary's a tennis fan.
Yeah, I didn't play tennis.
Yeah.
Gary used to be a tennis fan.
I hate tennis with all my heart.
Okay. And why is that?
I did appreciate Serena Williams winning and going into the conversation of one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah, really. Because did she tie or beat Steffi Graf's record?
I think she tied.
Tied it.
Yes.
Gary, are you still on your protest that until there's a great male or new great female U.S. tennis player?
Do you know how bad men's tennis has gotten? The first Canadian tennis player to ever make a Grand Slam final.
There's Canadians now? I'm out.
Yes.
I'm out even more than I was before.
And the Canadian tennis player's name was like... It was very Eastern European. It was like Goran Ivanovic or something, like some crazy Eastern European name, but they were Canadian.
Well,
they're in the first final ever.
You know, you're allowed to be Canadian and have...
It's just a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, so you're saying until all Canadians are either out of tennis...
No.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, you said that's what you're saying, Drew?
The state of the state of world tennis has fallen when the big Wimbledon finalist is an Eastern European Canadian.
I don't agree, and I don't think any of our Eastern European Canadian listeners are going to agree either.
Okay, well, at the risk of losing the bulk of our listening population.
Well,
I understand what Gary's saying.
What do you think?
And I fixed my mic over here, by the way.
Okay, excellent.
I was way low. Anyways, it would be like if there was a world war and Canada got us out of it.
Things change, guys.
That would hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
that would hurt.
But we might need. It might come to that. It might come to that.
Yeah. Zombies eat brains, so Canada should be relatively safe. a zombie apocalypse.
I actually have a question.
Are you saying that we actually do have a lot of Canadian listeners thanks to some of our Canadian
Do
guests?
we really?
Yes.
Brian Bob is Canadian.
No, it's not just Brian Bava. I've told you there are other listeners.
No.
And because of our wonderful Canadian guests, like the nice woman who hosts Comic-Con up in Montreal,
well, she's
we
fine.
actually have Canadian listeners. And I went there, Toronto, did my comedy. It was great. And they have lots of brains. They got all kinds of brains. They're lousy with brains up there.
Oh, optimistic Gary over here.
They're lousy with brains.
They're
So they're not
lousy.
good at brains. Is that what you're saying?
No, but you said the zombies would leave them alone because they eat
I
brains.
don't know.
That was the implication. They're lousy with Canadian brains up there in Canada.
I think that's what I said.
Yeah, okay.
Lousy brains.
No. Okay. Anyway,
All right.
Mr. Bishop.
About tennis. This is a serious question. Okay,
Yes.
I was watching a little bit of it,
Right.
and I was watching.
Ball has to go over the net.
Had you had some kind of accident where you trapped under a large piece of furniture?
Well,
and
no,
you couldn't get to the television
I had
set?
no. I had to take my car to the shop, and that's the only channel that I had.
I was wondering what the circumstances were
Right.
that you had to watch.
I would never
Bishop's
put myself
watching
through that.
tennis. Really?
But I do enjoy Serena Williams, but I never notice. And Blair, you're a woman,
I am.
okay, and you might know what I'm about to say.
I don't. I'm sure I'm going
She's
to.
concerned, though.
I'm excited.
worried. I
I'm
mean,
excited where it's going.
I'm
though.
actively concerned now. If
All right,
that's what
so
your
we've
goal is.
established that
And I know that's
Blair's a
fun.
woman.
Okay,
All right, what else?
And Serena's a woman.
Serena's a woman.
Yes.
Why is her nipples hard all the time?
Now, if there's more than one nipple, it should be why are her nipples hard all the time?
Whatever. This isn't a grammar.
Why are
Okay.
nip-eye?
Isn't
Nip
it
eye?
though?
Nip-eye.
So what?
What? Okay, listen. Well,
Well, I'm not a world class athlete, so I don't know. Maybe.
But
the
I'm saying that her nipples to be
Are they?
hard every time I
Is
watch.
it the fabric
Maybe it's
rubbing
the
against them
fabric.
as she sprints around the court?
Yeah, that
Is
could be
it
a
the
thing.
same reason that Rachel on Friends' nipples are always hard in
Were
every
they?
episode?
For ratings?
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe
it's
I
for
don't.
ratings.
I didn't see what she was wearing.
All right,
It
she's
might
wearing-
be fabric brushing
wearing-
against thing. It might be the intensity of the competition. I don't know.
I can slowly tell you what she
Bishop
was
just
wearing.
got excited there. He's like, "Oh, intensity."
I know my nipples get hard with the intensity of the competition.
Well, I don't know, and I didn't see. I did not.
She was wearing. All right, listen. She was wearing white on white.
Okay. They
My
have
cat
to.
has nipples. Can
They're-
you milk him?
They have to in Wimbledon. They have to wear white on white. I think.
Okay, white dress,
Right.
White, sports bra on sports bra. Two of them, right?
Yeah.
Because she's very top heavy. I don't know if you ever noticed.
Yeah. Well, I know what she's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I don't
but
know
I'm
the
just
answer.
saying that her nipples to be so hard that they're hard through two pairs
Yeah,
of sports
but
bra.
it might not be her real nipples that you're seeing there. It might be the sports
Did
bras.
some sort
it
of
might
nipple?
be whatever. You
Does
know,
she have nipple implants?
Okay, look, we're gonna have
I'm
to.
gonna Google it.
I
we're
mean,
gonna
I
have
think
to
it was.
fact check
I
this.
think it was a competition because during Port City's Top Comic, I had to wear Band-Aids.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think-
Were you wearing a pair of sports bra and a Spanx?
no, I wanted to let the girls fly loose, so I just put a Band-Aid over each nipple.
I was more concerned that her erection
Okay.
appeared to be.
What are you talking? What is that supposed to mean? Were you just making a joke? You just now he's gonna cut. That's your
Gary just killed
punishment.
himself.
That's your punishment. She's one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Okay.
She's one of the greatest athletes of all
All
time.
right.
And that's what we're talking. You didn't ask me about Andy Murray's nipples.
I didn't see Andy Murray's
Well,
nipples.
because you weren't paying attention, is my guess.
Really?
I bet they were just as hard.
Look, he only got delayed during the women's matchup, not the men's.
Look,
matchup.
But his erection did not seem to jut forward out of his pants.
you know, it's hard to be a feminist
Rock
on this
hard.
podcast.
Rock hard.
It's challenging.
I know Gary struggles with being a feminist and doing this podcast every day.
Right. And I think that I think it's
Criticism
possible.
of Serena's erection does not,
Not-
have anything to
what are
do
you
with me
talking about?
being
What is that? I don't
a
even know.
feminist.
I don't know what you
Really?
No, I'm a feminist. I'm the feminist on this podcast.
Right.
Right.
You didn't even mention it, so I don't know who's slack
No,
here, me
I'm-
or you.
Gary, did you see the part when Serena Williams' massively large penis
No.
got stuck in the net?
What do you... No. Stop. You know what people are going to think? That you're implying things about her.
I'm kidding.
You don't even...
I think
Look,
she's very attractive.
She is very attractive, but that's why if her nipples were hard the whole time, and maybe they were...
Did you just say she's very attractive the whole time if her nipples were hard?
No.
You did. Yes, you did.
No, you put
No,
commas
she
in
did
different
two.
places.
She did two ifs.
Did she eat shoots and leaves?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's the
All
problem
right.
here.
All right.
Mr. Bishop,
Yes.
I am merely suggesting that if...
I feel like you think I'm saying she's manly. I'm not.
No,
I think-
okay, just as
I'm
long as we're
very
clear about
attractive.
It's only an
that.
average size penis, to be honest.
Oh, Gary.
Right.
So, if
that
you're a...
manly.
Oh, please, for the love of Christ, let me finish the sentence. I am begging you. I will change my name. I swear to God, in August, I am going to change my name to Hames. Yes, I am. This is what this is all about. No, I don't really know that. It's just a hunch. Okay. So, I think that if you noticed that her nipples were hard...
Do you think it was just because I was watching?
You were watching more carefully than you were watching Andy Murray and such.
Well, who was she
They
playing?
weren't there. I don't know.
Who was she playing?
Some blonde girl. I don't know.
Or were her
Some
nipples,
lady that
were her
was
nipples
very
sticking out?
butthurt about not
No.
winning.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll fact check it. We got to move on. We got to move
All
on.
right.
We got Aaron Jackson to talk to, and we got important things to talk about there. All right, guys. We're moving on. Drew, do you have an update? We're not going to really talk
It's
about it.
almost the end of regulation, and it's 0-0.
Oh, it's so France versus Portugal on the Euro
Yeah,
Cup.
they
is
tend to
0-0.
like
Ronaldo-
calm down on defense and not try to score goals. in
Ronaldo
these things.
exited with a knee injury,
Yes,
so it's
early.
not looking
Early.
good.
I was watching in the 26th minute and he was already gone.
Yeah.
It's not. If they go, I mean, he's going to choke in the PKs anyway. So.
Right, so...
What's the PKs?
Penalty kicks.
Oh, penalty kicks. Oh, does he choke in the penalty kicks?
He did the last couple of games.
Okay. All right, so just let us know if something happens with that if
Okay.
you see it, Drew.
Yep.
Because we're worldly here at My Fantasy Wife. We
Clearly.
talk
Can I just
about-
chime in real quick?
Please, Mr. Bishop.
From time-
Were you forced to watch the Euro Cup also at like the dentist's office or something?
Yes.
What
Right.
are the dudes? What is the deal with these guys' nipples?
This from Time Magazine 2 days ago. People are actually mad about Serena Williams' nipples. So I just want to...
Well, you weren't mad.
That was from Time Magazine?
Well, Time.com, so...
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's
They're
not
mad
me.
about her nipples on Time?
Or
Any chance they could be nominated for Time's Man of the Year?
I probably not. It's
They nominated Hitler
It's person of
in
the year.
1938.
It's person
Whoa.
of the year. It's
Whoa.
person of the year.
Per-
now.
well, whatever.
But you weren't mad about it, and just so our
I wasn't
listeners
upset.
understand, you weren't at all upset
No.
about them, right? You're just curious.
Yes.
You're curious.
Right.
All right, Drew, this is your real time to shine, and maybe you too, Mr. Bishop. I believe UFC. Well, Gary, I just think that there's. You'll see in a second. UFC 200 was
I
last
think
night.
the Air Force tried to cover it up.
No, that's a UFO,
Oh,
and
sorry.
you know that. You know the difference. We talked about this.
All right.
UFC 200, Drew.
Not the. I don't think it turned out to be the elaborate event that the UFC was hoping it was going to be.
And why did that? I know somebody got banned and somebody else.
John Jones, arguably the greatest fighter right now, is looking at a 2-year suspension.
Wow. And he got bolted,
Steroids.
Yeah,
got
yeah,
popped
steroids,
for a
yeah.
banned substance.
And I didn't know they cared about that in the MMA, but,
Well, but at least they-
I mean,
apparently they do.
They all can't be roided out, ripping each other's
I kind
heads
of
off.
thought
in
that
an
was sort of the
octagon.
point of the MMA. You could just do whatever. But I guess
No.
there's a limit.
It's the logical continuation of that Saturday Night Live skit with the Olympics where Dana Carvey's arms just ripped off when he tried to pick the weight up.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 And so he's looking at a 2-year suspension.
Right.
And then I think they had to bring in a new female fighter at one point at the last minute.
They didn't have that famous...
Not in
that
the
famous
female
woman?
championship.
She was an
No.
undercard.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, did you guys hear me?
Are we sure about that?
Hold on. Did you guys hear me use the word undercard casually in a sentence?
Yeah, I like that.
You're
I like
welcome.
that.
I'm learning stuff, guys. 76 episodes, learning
Right.
some things. What else was big about the about UFC?
I mean, we got a new women's champion, so I mean that continues the streak of women's champions not being able to retain their belts.
Oh, who's the new women's champion?
Amanda Nunes.
And who was she fighting again?
She won the belt from Misha Tate, who won the belt from Holly Holm,
Right.
who won
Misha
the belt
Tate.
from Ronda Rousey.
Okay, so what is after?
Who is friends with Kevin Bacon?
Right,
So these,
exactly.
so these
Which is
women
how
can
Lewis
retain,
knows her.
They can retain water, but they can't retain their belts.
Oh, you know what? Now that was just blatantly sexist. The other thing was obnoxious about Serena, but that is sexist.
Okay.
But what about the dudes? Are they all retaining their belts all the time? I don't think so. We talk about that all the time. Like, I
Well,
can't
we got a
remember-
new interim champion too in the men's side.
Who's that?
So Jose Aldo fought Frankie Edgar because Conor McGregor's been doing these super fights. He's been away from his division for so
Right.
long, so they had to crown a champion because he hadn't defended in such amount of time. And Aldo beat Edgar. So, and then they had the awkward McGregor Aldo stare down. So they got to unify the belts at some point.
Okay. Well, and in fairness, Gary, I doubt any of them, male or female, are retaining water because I think they take those water pills so they can
Well,
make
wasn't
weight.
this fight in Vegas? It's a
I
dry,
think, yeah,
it's a
UFC
dry heat.
200 was
Yeah, it's a dry
Vegas.
heat.
So what's your big takeaway from this, Drew? from UFC 200?
I know everyone's excited about Diaz McGregor too. I think I'm a little more excited about McGregor Aldo too.
And the guy who came over from the WWE, they said
he knocked the dude. He beat the crap out of that dude.
And I think they said that he's going to keep on keeping on with that even as he keeps his WWE
why not,
contracts.
Man? Why not?
It's got to help
get-
WWE.
do we get paid?
Do we think it's fixed?
He got the highest paid guaranteed salary out of any fighter ever.
Lewis, do you think that this high-profile WWE guy doing MMA helps? I know you're a big wrestling guy, so it helps
I used
WWE.
to be.
Used to be.
Yes. I think it does. I mean, for one, even if he lost, it wouldn't really hurt his stock, so to say, in
Right.
WWE.
Right.
But with him winning, that even makes him more legitimate in the WWE.
Right.
You know,
He's
so,
really the monster they claim he is.
right.
Right. I got you. All right, guys. Next topic here. Do we care yet about baseball? Is
No.
there anything that we should be caring about?
No.
Gary, anything at
Home
all?
run derby's not even fun anymore. The All-Star game sucks.
The Orioles are hitting home runs at a spectacularly, record-breaking pace.
And they're
Really?
in first place because of it, because their pitching is terrible.
Yeah.
What's-
They hit the most home runs last month in the history of Major League Baseball in a month,
What's that?
which is remarkable.
what was the
'cause
number? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember, but they're nothing.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
you know, the
Jason
people
can
who were
find that.
behind that were like the 61 Yankees or something. Like, this is crazy. The Orioles. I mean, it's crazy.
I wonder what the
Mark Trumbo, their big big
Yeah.
stick.
Imagine if he was still with the Angels with what is the center
That'd be
fielder?
quite a
Trout
lineup. Quite a
and
lineup.
Trumbo?
Yeah.
what I wonder what the and we can fact check this for next week if you can't find it, Drew. but-
TNT.
What? Wait, what just happened? What? You both did the same thing at the same time. What happened? What do we know? What the biggest number of home runs?
50s. They set the MLB record for most home runs in June, and it was 56.
56. And so, what do we think it is for a season? I'm just
Oh, I
curious.
don't know.
All right. Well, no,
I
that's
can-
so you
I
don't.
think
You don't have to worry about it.
most
That's
home
Drew's
runs-
problem to look up.
Most home runs.
Yeah. And then, is there anything else we care about baseball right now, Gary?
Cubs, best record in baseball.
Now, is this
Tons
going
of young talent.
Didn't they have like a really great record last year?
Yeah, but they were really young. They're a year older now, and it's not as much of a
They're
surprise.
so much younger than they're older.
Maybe they'll
than
win
that-
15 division titles in a row, but only win one World Series.
The most ever home run by a team in a season was the 1997 Seattle Mariners.
Really?
Yeah.
And how many was that?
264.
All right. Interesting. Just a couple of things.
So they could beat it. There's 16 more long months
Oh, they could.
of
Yes.
baseball?
Yeah. No, it's
The-
like 27
Well,
months.
the 1908 Chicago White Sox hit 3 home runs the entire season.
Wow.
That is the fewest ever.
That's
Wow.
not good. It's not. I feel like I have a shot at that.
I have 3 home runs in my baseball career.
Right. And you probably could equal that if you were in the major leagues today.
Yeah,
Oh,
Babe
for
Ruth.
You'd have a fighting
Babe Ruth
chance.
wakes up in August from a beer fueled hot dog frenzy and hits 3 home runs in his sleep.
Yes.
All right. Just a couple other little things, guys. I just thought I would mention. I don't know if you saw this around town. Now, this is very local. This is very local to Wilmington, North Carolina, where we host from the Lewis Bishop Memorial Studios Amphitheater Studios. We got it all here. And I'm wondering if you guys noticed that the Masters of the Ring Wrestling is coming to the Wilmington Convention Center July 23rd.
Yeah, Tyler already hit me up and asked if I wanted to go.
What are they all about? Are you familiar with their work?
It's all the old guys. It's all the old retired guys.
I'd go see that.
Does somebody need to bought a ticket
It's
from
like-
the podcast so you
I
can
don't
go be a...
But you just meet them. I don't think they're wrestling. I think it's the
All
young
right,
guys
but
that are.
They're still mad at me for water bombing them from the roof of my dorm when I was at Wofford.
Well, it was very
Allegedly.
inconsiderate
It's
of
gonna
you.
be like DDP and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall.
Do we need to get a press pass?
Oh, we could. I guarantee
down.
you, if one of us messaged DDP about the podcast, he would more than likely come on here just so he could.
And DDP Yoga could.
talk about his yoga. Yeah, talk about his yoga.
Oh, I love yoga. DDP,
DDP
Diamond Dallas
Page.
Diamond, Dallas,
Page.
Page.
There you
Oh,
go.
well, that would be fun.
A good documentary. I know you like watching
I
documentaries.
do. I love them.
Is the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts?
Arguably the greatest wrestler of all time.
Oh,
And-
I don't know about that.
I guess that's where the arguably comes in.
Right.
Why do you
Yeah.
think he might be the best ever, Drew?
I really like Jake the Snake Roberts.
Why?
He was just.
He had a snake.
Did he have a snake?
He did.
Okay,
His
was it
name
mostly-
His name was Damien.
Was it mostly because of the snake?
No, I didn't
Okay.
like snakes.
Oh,
Snakes scared the crap
so
out of
it
me.
was in spite of the snake.
You're right. He was just a great.
He was so good
he was
that
just an
despite
all-around-
the snake,
He was just
you
an
liked
all-around
him.
great talker.
Little Drew was like,
he'd be all right if he had that snake with him.
Yeah.
That snake scared me.
How did you know what I
right.
sounded like as a kid?
Because you sound a lot like that now.
Oh, okay.
Ugly, but he probably about the best professional wrestler I've ever seen before.
We had to move our grill.
When they film my documentary, I want you to play me,
Yes.
little me.
the cartoon documentary. You know when we had to
If
move
they
our
ever cartoonized Drew and put him on South Park, I think that's exactly it.
yes, that is exactly it.
Yes.
We had to move our grill from the back porch to the front because there are too many snakes. Gary kept having to fight off snakes from the barbecue, so we had to move ours.
Well, that's not good.
Gary-
They're still in the backyard.
Gary just-
you still have to be
Whatever.
back there now.
Oh, yeah.
Gary does not like snakes or spiders.
I
by
don't
the way,
like me neither.
Oh, there's some big effing spiders.
oh,
in our
there's
Well, I
backyard.
gotta
think
go talk
the
to my-
spiders are eating the snakes. They're so big.
actually got a little start when I walked in here. Lewis with that yellow shirt on. These spiders are yellow and black, and you.
"Oh, that's a
a
second. Garden snake." I mean, garden. I don't know. what
I
it
don't
is.
know. They're huge.
I'm
What?
sorry.
I don't know.
Alrighty. All right. Well, we'll
Do you feel that ripple of confusion?
I'm just looking at the time. What time we got there?
It is-
Okay. Thank you, Gary. So Diamond Dallas Page, and I'll try to get us a press pass or 4, and see if we can get there, and maybe. And you say he does yoga, or does he have like a yoga studio?
No, he has a
teaches yoga.
program.
He has a program and
It's
everything.
DDP yoga. It saves people's lives.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I believe that yoga
Yeah, I
saves
mean-
people's lives.
It saved Scott Hall's life.
What does little Gary sound like?
I don't know.
What does little Blair sound like?
Little Gary sounds like, "Come down and your father's gold is worth $400."
All right.
Wow, that's
What
depressing.
does little Blair sound like?
Um,
You know what? You
Yeah.
know what? Don't even.
Yeah,
Let's
I
not.
probably shouldn't.
That won't go well.
Right.
We're all just gonna have hurt feelings
Yeah.
after that. Okay. All right, guys.
will you still pay me at the end or no?
Sure. No. I mean.
Okay, probably not,
unless
yeah.
I.
We just don't have enough time for him to start that and then not stop it, which is what you would do.
Oh. Well. See, there's where the hurt feelings
Right.
happen.
Okay.
That's where the hurt feelings are. See, Gary gets excited when he's on the podcast because this is the most he's allowed to talk in my presence, probably of any time. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Of
Louis.
any other time during the week. So I just get excited, and it's hard for me to stop talking.
Timmy had to shush her many times last night.
Alrighty. All right, guys.
I like how she just marched right through that. She's like,
didn't
"Yep,
deny
nope,
it.
Nope."
Yeah, Timmy just likes shushing women. Okay.
What's wrong with you, Timmy? You're not even my real dad.
Yeah, exactly. He's not even. All right, guys. Can we get the hotline going? We're calling comedian Aaron Jackson, and Aaron. Well, let's wait till the phone stops. Aaron was the semifinal. Oh.
Hello.
Hey, Aaron Jackson. This is Blair Postman with My Fantasy Wife podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing wonderfully. I'm going to finish your introduction real quick. Aaron, listeners, is the semifinalist from the 2014 reboot of Last Comic Standing, co-host of 3 seasons of Exhale on the talk series on Magic Johnson's Aspire TV network. You appeared on Comedy Central's Live at Gotham and the NFL Network and much, much more.
And captured and tamed a unicorn.
Yeah, yes, apparently she can do all things. Everyone, let's give Aaron a big round of applause. Yay. And Aaron, I'm just going
Hey there.
I'm going to remind you who's here real quick. To my left is my husband and sports stat expert, Gary Hames.
Hi.
Hey, Gary.
And we've got Drew Harrison, who's our social media maven and hot topics person.
Hello.
Awesome. Hey there.
And then our sound engineer and man about town is Mr. Louis Bishop.
Hello, Aaron.
Hi there.
So, Aaron, I know that you are a big Eagles fan. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, I have a note here from my 11-year-old nephew.
Okay.
He is a Giants fan, but his mother is an Eagles fan. So there's a lot of tense moments in the house.
All of you, by the way, are wasting your time.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to you in a second, Mr.
Oh,
Mr.
my
Cowboy.
goodness.
But he's.
I heard about you.
Yeah, right. And I warned her.
They never proved it.
But the note he gave me was the Philly is silly. How do you respond?
Well, that was harsh.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
harsh.
sorry that I had to bring that right out of the gate.
You didn't tell me we were allowed to use language on this podcast.
Well, whatever your feelings require is the way you should go. But but I know you are a huge Eagles fan, and I'm just wondering. Let's start with this. How do you think they're looking going into next season?
I don't know.
Wow,
That's
honest.
That's all I can say. You know what? I really don't know what we have. I don't know. I mean, I guess I
Attitude
kind of know
problem?
what to expect. What'd you say?
Attitude problem, maybe?
Oh,
Is that what they have?
No.
Quarterback issues? They might have that.
we definitely have one quarterback issue. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, right. Being too silly, I hear that's a problem.
So you're really in a dark place then. You really don't know what you got going on over there, huh?
For the record,
Well, I expect the team to definitely be run differently. We know Doug Peterson is the Andy Reid guy, so maybe some return to the Andy Reid era that we wanted to be over so quickly, or so badly, but now we're longing for again. So, I'm anxious to see what, even though temper tantrum aside, I'm anxious to see what the Sam Bradford that's been healthy for a year looks like. We'll see.
Gary spent a lot of
Yeah, I'm a little bitter.
Gary's really bitter about Sam Bradford, and because he put him in like 99 fantasy leagues and didn't work out.
Yeah,
I still would take
bit a
Sam.
big pill last year.
What was that?
I
Drew?
still would take a sketchy Sam Bradford over a Tony Romo any day.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I'm going to ask Aaron. I'm going to ask you and Gary and Drew and Lewis chime in if you can, despite our technical difficulties. But who do you think is underrated this year? Whether it's a player or a team or a defense, who do you think's underrated?
Underrated.
Anybody jump in here?
I'm a big Jacksonville fan.
Yeah, they made some great moves.
I liked their offense last year, and they would always score, because I had a bunch of Jacksonville fantasy people, and they lit it up, and they got some good rookies on defense, and they made a bunch of offseason moves. I like Jacksonville.
All right, that's interesting. What about you, Drew? Are you on board with the Jacksonville?
Yeah, I like that pick, and I think Houston's going to make leaps and bounds this year, too.
Okay. Why is that?
They got a quarterback now.
I was going to say Houston as well. Yeah, I'm anxious to see what they've got down there this year. I am definitely the kind of girl who goes to training camp. Like, I'm that girl. So I will definitely be checking out my squad. Yeah, I have free time, right? Doing what I do. And now that I'm back in Jersey, it's a lot easier. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I really do plug into preseason training camps and preseason to kind of check everybody out before it gets started. So I'm excited. I mean, this is the time of year where I'm just like, hurry up already. I'm not a baseball fan. Basketball's over, and I'm just kind of like, oh my God, give me a hit. So yeah. I get it as soon as it's available. I want football.
Yeah, I think you're in good company with that here. But speaking of basketball, just really quickly, did you have any thoughts on all the free agency and all the NBA? Whether it's Kevin Durant or everything that's been all the big contracts, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I have tons of opinions. I really don't understand all the Kevin Durant hate. I don't. It's so funny to me because I have reasons that I hate LeBron James, but like moving from Cleveland the first time to Miami is not one of them, right? Right. And I feel the same way about Kevin Durant. To me, it's like anybody that has a job, right, and you have an opportunity to have career advancement. I mean, I did that. I left jobs for more money or better opportunities. And, it's not like he's one of these football guys who was like, yeah, I want a new contract now. My contract's not up. I'm going to not show up. You know what I mean? He didn't do that. He waited. His contract was up. He had the opportunity to move, and that's what you do. He
was a mature guy. He did it the right way. It's just some people are always going to have their feelings hurt.
I don't know. I'm thinking about, Magic Johnson plays out his first contract with the Lakers and then switches to the Celtics. I don't know. There was their big rival.
Okay, but here's the thing. So when you have that opportunity, right? What do you do? Do you upgrade? Do you downgrade because it'll make people feel better about you? Like, there's only a couple teams that you could upgrade from, right?
Right.
So if you, I mean, obviously he could have chosen to stay, but in terms of upgrading his opportunities, there's really only 2 or 3 teams he could go to. 2 teams, really, maybe 3.
Sure.
That you would. So what are you going to do? Just like go to a team that doesn't have as much of a chance because it'll make you feel better about his character? I mean, if they had been at a different place in the bracket and they hadn't actually lost to them, then would it be okay?
But
you know,
but they did, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have gone. I'm just saying I understand why they hate him because
Yeah.
I think if it was really up to the American public, he would have joined a small high school team in Indiana and led them to an unexpected state tournament.
That would have been quite an outcome, Gary.
Right.
they should make a movie about
Yeah,
that.
you know what? They should. They should.
Right.
What about you, Drew? Do you have any thoughts on the whole free agency stuff?
I mean, I'm a little upset he didn't come to Boston. You know, but that's I'm a Celtics fan, Aaron.
I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little upset about Boston, but I mean, kudos to him. That's going to be fun to see them play next year. I'm excited about it.
Do you think they have to win?
Oh, for sure.
Do they have to win?
I think so. I think they have 2 years to do it because everyone gets that 1 year to get the chemistry down and everything. And I think if they don't win within 2 years, they're gonna be so much more hated.
I think this year was the first year of that 2 years. I think they had to win this year. I mean, look what they did. They went out and signed Kevin Durant because they didn't win this year. That's ridiculous. Like that's such a they took a 100-point move in a 5-point hole. Like yes, they have to win this year. Or I mean, can you imagine them? They won
That's
70.
They
won the most games in the history of the NBA without him.
Yeah, that's kind of a high bar. I'm not an expert on the NBA, but that does seem like a very high bar.
But it's gonna come down to a chemistry question because they did lose a lot of their role players. So do they still have that chemistry with Durant?
Yeah.
All right. Now, before we get on to our game, I'm just going to give Gary an opportunity to you are a huge Dallas fan.
I am an average-sized Dallas
No,
fan.
you are. Okay, your size as a human is average.
Right.
But your attachment to the Dallas Cowboys is huge.
Yes, I'm actually going to be buried in a star.
Which is going to be weird. We're going to have to dismember you to make that work.
Yeah, rocket ship.
But,
Yes, right.
but okay. It's going to be complicated. Got to
Right.
get to work on that.
Yep.
But is there anything now? This is without insulting Aaron.
Well, which I would never do.
Which you would never do as a human being.
Right.
Is there anything, as in a very diehard official Eagles fan in the media, who've been on NFL Network, is there any particular huge grievance against the Eagles you'd like to air right now?
No, none at all. What are you talking about?
Okay, because pretty much every other episode.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm lying.
That's what I thought.
I'm still fucking mad about Buddy Ryan throwing that 4th down touchdown against the Cowboys in, what was it, in 87 or whatever that was. And he died last week, so he's got his, but I'm still not even.
Wow. Okay.
Still not even over it.
Right. Other than that, it's all fine.
Now, Aaron, do you have, and if you don't, that's fine, but do you have any particular grievances against the Dallas Cowboys that you'd like to air? It doesn't have to be rational. It doesn't have to make sense.
Other than them being everything that's wrong with America?
Oh, no, I mean,
Other than that?
that'll do. That'll do. All right.
You didn't like Michael Irvin's full-length beaver skin coat at his cocaine court appearance? I mean, nothing says to a judge,
goodness.
I don't have a cocaine problem, like wearing a full-skin beaver coat, like to the floor.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I don't know.
Yes.
Most of your presidential and lawyerly types wear beaver skin coats, I think.
Right.
To court.
Absolutely, man. That was a time in fashion and sports,
Yeah.
man.
You know what? We're going to have to find that picture and put it
Yeah,
up on
it's pretty
the
good.
Facebook page. All right, Aaron, I know you got a lot to do. You're a busy comedian and actress. So before we let you go, we're going to do a quick little game, if you will. And I'm going to ask you about Philadelphia sports fans, not necessarily just football. I don't know if you know this, but fans of pro sports in Philadelphia are often looked down upon as being rather gruff. Yes.
By whom?
Just
Outrageous.
everyone in the world,
Yeah.
Including like soccer hooligans in the
That
Netherlands.
in-stadium jail didn't help the overall appearance of things.
Yeah, so I've collected some real stories about worst Philly fan moments. in history, and I've mixed them together with some made up ones. And I want to see if you can guess which is true and which is false. All right?
Okay.
And then maybe we'll each read a couple here. Okay. In August 21st, 1949, Phillies fans threw glass bottles onto the field, and the barrage continued despite pleas over the loudspeaker system. And one umpire was hit in the mouth. Another umpire was hit in the back of the head by a tomato. And after waiting 15 minutes, they had to shut down the game, and it was forfeited to the Giants. Is that true or false?
Oh, gosh, I hope it's true, but I think it's not.
Ding, 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 ding. It is. That is true. That is true.
I hope it's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I hope it's true. I hope it's true.
All right, Gary,
1949, people were that poorly behaved.
Yeah, well, I think you could get away with a lot when everyone didn't have the ability to record you on a cell phone. All
right.
All right, how about this one? In 1968, Eagles fans boo and then pelt a man dressed as Santa Claus who was part of a halftime ceremony. Then in 2003, the same man was asked to appear in the same Santa suit at a Sixers game and was roundly booed again.
I'll say yes. That's true.
That is true. Ding, 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 ding. Well, I like the part where they bring the guy back. That's the part which I thought sounded so unbelievable. They brought him back in 2003, 35, 6 years later, and they boo him again. And a different sport, mind you.
Right.
It's not.
But now it's like a thing. Now we're already notorious for booing Santa, so now we're just going to boo Santa. We didn't know we were saying Santa.
Good job.
That was your thing. Okay, how about this? In 1960, during the NFL title game, Italian-American Eagles fans who worked at the famous Ralph's Italian restaurant in the kitchen, and some, I guess, of the butchers who supplied the kitchen, threw pig's blood, and they were aiming for the opposing quarterback, who I think was Bart Starr of the Packers. But they largely missed Starr, and most of the blood wound up on assistant coach Nick Skorich. And then the family who owned the restaurant offered him a free meal after that.
Wow. Because nothing says appetizing like pig's blood.
Well, I'm just telling you.
Oh, my God. I'm going to go with false.
Oh, it's ding, ding, ding. That one was false. However,
Thank God. That's gross.
I'd like you all to know that I did a lot of research to make it sound true.
I got you.
Yeah, you had names of coaches.
I had names.
I loved
She watched
it.
The Godfather.
The restaurant.
Ralph's Restaurant is a real place. That's the real coach. That's who was in the NFL. I just want you guys to appreciate the kind of work I do.
I respect what you did, Blair. I respect it.
What was the blood type?
It was O.
O
negative, which is because that's the universal donor,
right.
and that's why it was such a waste.
Good job.
All right, Gary, you go ahead. You go ahead with this one that I'm pointing to here.
Okay, in 1974, after the Flyers Stanley Cup win, Flyers fans took turn trying to quote piss for distance into the top of the Stanley Cup.
That sounds so silly. Oh God. Why not? Yeah, true.
Oh, it's false.
Wow, you invented that out
I
of nowhere?
invented that one, guys. I invented
that. Distance is what got me.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I was convinced that was true.
Did you like that one, Drew?
I didn't think it was true just because of how closely they watch the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Like, I know Philly fans are crazy, but I don't think they could get that close.
No, but but still.
But it's for distance. They didn't have to get that close.
You're right,
I don't think they can pee that far.
Right. I liked it.
It was creative. It was good.
That's hilarious.
Let's. Well, no. You know what? That one was too. How about this one? This one where my thumb is.
Okay. When NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue in attendance on game day, December 10th, 1989, the Veterans Stadium crew failed to remove the snow that had piled up for several days, leaving Eagles fans, including future Governor Ed Rendell, no choice but to pelt the fabulous Dallas Cowboys players and coach Jimmy Johnson with massive amounts of snowballs.
Did that happen?
He stumped her.
Wow. Sure, she
yes.
says.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. That is true. You thought it might just have been Gary's, anger about the
Classy Ed Rendell and the
yes.
snowball pelting.
Yeah,
he
you-
put a rock inside one of his.
Well, she knows now what a big Dallas Cowboys fan you were, and she was wondering a little bit. I think
Yeah.
did Gary just put that in because he's bitter?
Well, I am
Yeah.
bitter, but that one was true.
All right. Let's try just a couple more, and we'll let you go. Let's try this one at the
Okay.
top.
All right, one more. In a 1984 Eagles game at Veterans Stadium, 37-year-old Philly native Paul DeViti was caught giving a swirly, whatever that is, to an unknown adolescent wearing a Cowboys jersey. DeViti was punished by spending the fourth quarter in the stadium's jail, where his friends were permitted to bring him a patch cheesesteak. In the
I
internet,
believe
wonderful.
everything until the cheesesteak.
In the internet, wonderful.
I don't even know what a swirly is,
Me
but
neither.
it gets you
Some
put in
kind of ice
jail.
cream
It
thing,
gets
I
you put in
guess.
jail.
I guess it does.
From isn't it the swirly, Mr. Bishop? Isn't that when you put someone's head in a toilet?
We can all figure this out.
Yeah, you put someone's head in a toilet and you flush the toilet.
Yeah, that's
Oh, no, that didn't happen.
all right. Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. You are correct.
I needed to know what a swirly was.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Well, you know what, Aaron? You did a pretty good job. I'm impressed we got you on
You
one.
know, the swirly part probably happened. I agree with you. There's a cheesesteak that made that unbelievable.
I'm just going
The
to...
cheesesteak in jail.
Yeah.
I just... Before I let you go...
I know people that have been in jail. They didn't get a cheesesteak.
Yeah, well, this was like football jail, though.
Okay.
I would just like to read the two other fake ones I wrote because I did a lot of
Okay, go
research for them. First was during the 1980 World Series, which the Phillies would go on to win, defeating the Royals in 6 games. Pitcher Tug McGraw was threatened with a baseball bat outside the stadium after losing a second game to the Royals in Kansas City by a group of Phillies fans who had traveled to KC for the game.
Good job with the Tug McGraw.
Yeah,
That was-
I
that
bet
was not
he did
true.
lose those 2 games too. I
That
bet
he did.
Yeah,
He did.
I
I
know.
looked it all up. I did a
Right.
lot of, and then the last fake one that I made up because I put a lot of time into this on a Saturday night. During the 1962 history-making game between the Philly Warriors, then Warriors, and the New York Knicks in Hershey, Pennsylvania, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points. Excited fans ripped the basketball legend's jersey off his body as he left the arena, even though he fruitlessly tried to fight off the swarm and was later assisted to get away by a legion of security guards. Many of the shreds or pieces claiming to be shreds from the jersey found their way for sale outside the Warriors stadiums during later games that season. So,
Yeah, that's a reasonable.
right, that was also false.
Yeah.
That was also false. Well,
All right.
Aaron, we so enjoy
Well,
having
you're
you.
a great maker-upper.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
must say.
Some people call it lying, but I like your word.
Right.
Yeah, I tried to not say that.
You're a creative writer. Hey, Aaron, tell us about anything that you might have coming up. If you have any shows or going to be on TV.
Stuff to plug.
Stuff to plug.
Well, I will start by saying where you can find me on the internet. I have a website that is erinjackson.net, and I am EJ the Comic on your Twitters. And I've got a Facebook page, too, if anybody still does Facebook. I do.
We do, because we're old.
Right. So that's where you can find me there. Where you can find me in real life is in New York City most nights when I'm in town. I'm going to be on ships for pretty much the rest of the summer.
Oh,
but
sounds kind of cool.
yeah, it's not.
Okay.
Well,
but never
I
mind.
thought for a minute she said Chips, the 70s California Highway Patrol show,
No.
which would be
I
awesome.
did too. I got excited. I was like, they're remaking Chips.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Well, you know what, Aaron? Maybe that's for your next pitch meeting.
Not only am I acting, but I'm traveling in time.
Right.
But yeah, so that's where I'll be. But yeah, you can catch me in New York all the time. I'm here, and yes, thanks guys for having me.
All right, wonderful, guys. Let's give Aaron a big round of applause. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. All right, we'll catch you on the other side. Thank you, Aaron.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, that was fun.
Oh, she was good.
That was fun. All right, guys. Sorry you had to take all that, Gary. All right, guys. Well, is that the Chips theme
yes.
song? Well, I was thinking that if you rebooted Chips, like you were saying, Drew, but all female officers, that would be
Okay, we gave you
awesome.
Ghostbusters. Take
That
it
was
easy.
all. You know what? We're taking everything. We're taking it all.
Cross it with Baywatch. They
What's
ride
that
the
one?
motorcycles, but in bikinis.
What's the one that Captain Kirk was in when after Star Trek?
Star Trek.
TJ Hooker.
TJ Hooker. We're
TJ
taking TJ Hooker. We're taking them all. All right, guys. Well, that is. I think that's. Oh, next week, by the way, and we'll put all the Aaron Jackson social media stuff out as well. But you can join us next week. We're going to have comedian and TV funny man and soccer fan Rory Scovel, and that's Rory Scovel. You know him. Yes, you actually do. Okay. All right, guys. That's going to wrap us up for this week, listeners. Special thanks to our contributing writers on this, Joe Perot and Wills Maxwell. To download all the episodes and extras that we put out every week, you can subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher, or you can go to our website, myfantasywife.com. Find us on Facebook at My Fantasy Wife Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at MyFantWife, Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, and on YouTube. Yes,
That's not true.
Yes, it's true. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for taking us out with the jazz trumpet stylings of Mr. Al Hurt.